gorgeous, just absolutely gorgeous 57 Chevy Nomad. And as pristine, as show quality as what you guys see, to understand the effort and the love that had to go into this car to bring it back to what you're seeing right now is absolutely amazing. Towards the end of this episode, I'm going to give you guys the full lowdown story on this car. This was one of my dad's best friends. This was his car. His son brought it back to life after tragedy, and to be able to bring it into the shop and do some of the work on it, I can't tell you how excited I am.
So first things first, we got to pull the exhaust off this thing, or at least on the passenger side here, because I want to be able to get to this fuel line. What problems are we having? Well, it's got rubber line on it, but it's also hitting some suspension, and the only way that I can get to this, I'll show you right here. The fuel line is actually right underneath that portion of the upper control arm, or this upper A arm. It's right at my fingertip. I don't think I can get you guys much closer, but it's right underneath the suspension. Well, how can I get to it? The exhaust needs to come off. So I'm gonna pop this bad boy off, pull this header out. Then we'll get to the top side, get rid of the rubber line that's causing some problems. And I'm gonna end up bending up a really nice metal line, but there's a little bit more to it than that. So first things first, let's get this header off. I'm not worrying about fully taking it out of the car. I'm not going to pull the starter and all that. I already had pulled the dipstick out just to get that far. The problem that I'm fighting with this thing, or they are fighting with this, is notice this is the fuel line. This rubber line going directly underneath the suspension. Yeah, it's already making marks of scissoring this piece of rubber. That is a fire hazard waiting to happen. And then the rest of this line that comes up through here goes to the carburetor. It's all rubber as well. This has a mechanical pump on it. Also has an electric fuel pump on it. I know for a fact you guys are going, why would you run an electric fuel pump into a mechanical? Well, it feeds the mechanical pump. Then your mechanical pump is wrong. You have a problem with that mechanical pump. They make it about 15 minutes of driving the car and it'll just die on them. Not vapor lock, where it won't turn over. It'll sit there and spin all day, but they don't get fuel. The pump is failing that much to be able to siphon it through a 3/8 fuel line from the gas tank. You might want to just then replace the mechanical pump. They didn't want to do that. They wanted to run an electric pump feeding a mechanical pump. At that point, just take the mechanical pump off, because most people don't want to run an electric pump because, oh, it's noisy and it makes a lot of, it just buzzes and, I just don't like it. Well, if you're fine with that, then just run the electrical pump. That's what we're going to do. So my plan is I'm going to get a block off plate, block that off, and then where all that rubber line was, they want metal. They want it to look kind of factory, not braided line. They want it to look like a factory pre-bent, 3/8 fuel line. So that's what I'm going to do. But also, there is no fuel pressure regulator on this thing. So you don't know how much fuel pressure it's pushing, because number 2 reason why this is in here. This thing is dieseling. This is a GM full done motor. I mean, this is everything the way GM brings it to you, the carburetor to pan. I'm going to double check timing, and I'm going to mess with the carburetor, because there's your spark plug. Here, let me get you into the light a little bit. Maybe you can see it, maybe you can't, but you can see how absolutely just pig fat this thing is running. That right there is telling me a few things, that the carb's not right. Also, they're running rec fuel. They're not running straight premium, because there was a little bit of fear that the premium was going to eat away all that rubber line. Well, I'm going to be putting metal in it now, and the rest of the car is metal. So you'd be able to run premium because of the little bit of ethanol that's in it. Yes, it does deteriorate away the rubber. It does do that, but guys, it's not going to do it in a matter of a month or a year. It's going to take a while for that to happen. But now we're going to solve that problem. So the fact that these motors are supposed to run on 93 octane and you're running it on 90 octane, that also could be a little bit, along with everything else, of why the thing's dieseling. So now you know what's going on with the Nomad and why it's in here. Oh, race gas just smells, even when it's not burned, it smells so much better than just crappy old pump gas. Ugh. Well, check this out. This is interesting. This fitting is stripped. Yeah, that fitting is completely stripped. That's nice. I don't think that's a cause of any problems, but it definitely could have been a, yeah, see right here? See where she's rubbing through? Right in this section? That's right where that frickin' top A-arm was. Wow. Glad I found it and glad we're fixing it, but damn. Such a beautiful show car. You shouldn't see any rust on things. And this is a GM crate motor, and I've explained that 100 times over. But here's something that I cannot stand that GM does. On the front of their motors, where the bare cast iron's shown, they never paint it. I don't know why they don't do it, but they never paint it. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna start masking off like the water pump around the intake manifold. I'm gonna paint these front sections on the engine. That is just horrible. I mean, when you look into an engine compartment, you should not be seeing that. I am not finding fault with the car. Guys, this thing is an absolute dream of a car. I just want to keep that prestige, that top quality that this thing's got. I want to keep that going in this. There's a couple other little things that I've noticed that I can't help it, are pet peeves. I won't go after that stuff, and I'm not even going to show you because I don't want to pick the car apart. This is just the one big thing because I'm working on the engine that it's like, okay, I just can't do this. I'm going to mask this off. I'm going to do some painting on it, and I just have to make it look good. I can't, I can't help it. This is your block plate that you normally would have on your engine. The push rod comes through. Your mechanical fuel pump's going to go through and then work that. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna seal this bad boy up. So I got some sheet metal, and all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna seal up that hole. Hey man, why don't you just go out and actually buy a block off plate? Well, I've already checked 2 or 3 different auto places. They don't have them, and I'd have to special order one up, and you're looking at about 2 days or so. I'm not gonna let this suck up 2 days, plus the fact that you're never gonna see this. I'm gonna mount it flush, and then we'll grind everything, paint it with black, and at that point, you'll never see it. And also, you can save yourself a little bit of money by doing this. Okay, take a little bit of time, do it yourself. Got a little bit of paint on it. We are good to go. Looks good enough to me. You're never really even going to see the damn thing. So let's move on to the next. So when you go to Napa, AutoZone, any place like that, and you pick up your fuel line, and it's like, man, I'd really like to have a nice, polished type of fuel line, but you're not gonna get stainless or anything like that. How can I turn this kind of garbagey looking crap into something that's presentable to throw onto like this 57 Chevy Nomad? It doesn't take much, it's just a little bit of elbow grease. Check this out. All we're gonna do is just take off that finish. Now you can see how it starts to take that finish right off. We're not done here. I will say this portion of it, if you don't have the wire wheel, then get one on your drill. I've already taken off the gook, what I would consider that flash or anodized crap. And now I'm going over it with a 220 grit. I'm not going crazy. I'm just sitting here, then I'm gonna go through and then I'm gonna use my Scotch-Brite to kind of clean that section up. I'm gonna do a little half a piece here so you can see kind of a before, a middle, and an after. So that's fresh off the wire, and then we get into the 220, and then we get into the Scotch-Brite. And you can see how that's got a nice shine to it now. Last thing that I will do is after I go through wire brush, 220, Scotch-Brite, then we're gonna put a coat of clear on it. This is how it's gonna look. And that, my friends, is how she turns out. So when you go to Napa, when you go to AutoZone and you find this type of fuel line, it's like, man, I'm just gonna paint it black and just blah, you know, no big deal. Take a little bit of time and you can make this look, I would say, show quality at a certain point. You know, I wouldn't say it's perfect polished stainless, but if you don't have the money for it or you don't have the place to find it, guys, this is definitely a good option B. I think it looks pretty good. So there is the new fuel line. As you can see, everything's all sealed up nice. Looks like we got to add a little bit of fuel pressure here. Looks like we're at about 4.5. I'm gonna go through, do some carb adjusting. It seems a little wonky. I pulled the timing back to 34 degrees. It was at 38. So let's see if this helps with the dieseling problems. Plus, like I said, the carburetor's not quite there. The backs are literally a half a turn out, and the front is at 2. Yeah. Tap 1. So what I'm gonna do, notice how you can hear it starting to idle different? Yeah. So I'm gonna set everything at 1 turn. Bring that idle up. Wow, that's already better. That's better. I'm gonna go about a 1/4 turn. Woo. See, now that's snappier. Squealing you're hearing is a little bit of the smell. So I think we're good to go. It sounds nice and snappy. Needs some gas. We're gonna go throw some gas in it, go throw some premium in it. It was using rec fuel because it had so much rubber hose on this thing. Now we're gonna go fill it up with premium. Now I'm gonna find out, besides the 34 degrees of timing, does putting the premium in also help with this thing dieseling? But I'm gonna make sure I'm perfectly clean and there's nothing on me before I hop my butt in that car.
I want to give you guys the backstory a little bit here on this Nomad. This has got such sentimental value to me and my father. This was owned by Mike Pater, who was one of my dad's best friends. And he actually picked this thing up pretty much around the time he got out of Vietnam. And he had this car done about in the mid-70s, and it had a 70 LT1, 370 horse, 350 with a 4-speed and a 370 gear. And it was that way forever. This was the first street machine that I was introduced to when I was pretty much in diapers, and I loved this car, always loved this car. Well, unfortunately, in 2016, Mike ended up losing his life in this car and got in a terrible head-on collision, and we thought the car was done. If you ever knew Mike, you knew this car. You knew the white Nomad, and that was Mike cruising it around. His son stepped up and rebuilt and revived this car and brought it back to life, and just being able to drive it is amazing. So I'm going to stop and get some gas here, but I'm going to surprise the old man, and he hasn't been in it yet since it's been restored. We are going to go get some lunch, so let's pick him up.
So you ready to go for a cruise?
I am ready.
So how does it feel to drive the Nomad?
Takes me back about 50 years or more. I didn't have Nomad when I was younger, but I had 57 Chevys. So makes you feel young again. It's the best way to describe it. I'm driving with my arm out the window. Air conditioning is on right now on both sides.
And to me, they always had them in the right spot where you hang your arm out the window.
Yeah. Yep. It's just at the right level. You know, like the new cars, you'd be way up here like so. Oh, honey, what are you doing over there?
How does it feel to be back at Pater's Nomad? Weird driving it. So I hope you guys like this one with the 57 Chevy Nomad, and I hope you enjoyed the story behind it, because this thing literally lit the fuse for what I do here at Muscle Car Custom Garage. I know the old man absolutely enjoyed driving this Nomad. Being able to drive one of his best friends' hot rod again, it meant the world to him. It absolutely did. Everything seems to be good. It doesn't diesel when we turn it off. We ended up going out to Culver's and just did a big around the block drive for about 10 minutes. Everything seemed to be great. So she's running good. I would say it runs a little fat because of the plugs. I'd probably run a little bit hotter plug in it and all that stuff. But she seems to be doing good. I'm sure it'll probably come back here for a little bit more maintenance every once in a while, which I will always be happy to work on this bad boy. So hope you enjoyed the episode, you guys. You want to see what else is coming down? Hit that subscribe button. We'll see you in the next episode. And like always, my friends, I will catch you on the next one. See ya. Woo!